exactly a month ago, on the 13th of May, I made a video with this violin. This violin was made in Krakow, perhaps in 1942, perhaps in 1949. It's difficult to read the label. But in any case, war-torn Krakow, if it was the earlier date, recovering if it was the later, by Piotr Kubas, a good Polish maker. And I had just got it. It had arrived through the post a few days before, and it had been set up. And the sound was confined. It was kind of cramped. I don't think it had been played for a very long time, and it's quite normal for a violin to go to sleep if it's not used fairly regularly, but they can be brought back to life, usually, sometimes very successfully, and it just involves playing. So in the last month I have played this violin a bit, not I think quite as much as I would have liked to do, time being as it is, can't always manage things, but it's now been played a fair bit. And what I'm going to do, as I said I would in the last video about this violin, which was called Bringing an Old Violin Back to Life, by the way, a lot of people have watched it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play exactly the same music as I did before, and well, the theory is that if it's come out of its shell a bit, you may be able to tell, but I think that will be very difficult because you'd have somehow to listen to almost the old video at the same time or very close. Anyway, I'll do my best, and we can only do what's possible. So I played first of all a solo piece, so you could just hear the violin on its own, and it was a tune, a Scottish tune by someone called Willie McPherson from Elgin, and it was called The Colburn, and here it is again. Apologies for the very slight slip of memory fairly early in that tune. You get the idea. Well, the other thing I did was to play the slow movement of the Bach double concerto. I played the first violin part, and here we have, of course, a second player and chamber orchestra playing along, and it gives you an idea of the instrument. I'm deliberately not saying what I think at the moment because I don't want to get in the way of any reaction that anyone who's watching might have. So here we go, Bach double, second movement, and this is it. two little glitches here and there. Nothing too dreadful, I hope, but that wasn't the violin's fault. Okay, what do I think? First of all, it's difficult because I've been playing this fairly regularly all this time, and if there was an improvement it would be gradual, and sometimes you don't notice it. I don't think there has been a great deal of improvement, however. The top string is sweet and sounds rather nice, and that's fine. The A string is alright. I should perhaps say that also the sound of any violin under the ear, if you're playing it, is not the same as the sound that conveys itself to a listener. So I haven't heard this violin being played. I'd like to, and I must try and arrange that. But it's when we get to the bottom strings that I think the problem begins to arise. The D's all right. But the G string is still very cramped in its sound. Now, I don't know how obvious that is on the video. I don't know how obvious it would be if people were listening to it in real life, sitting just over there. But to me, this is still a disappointing G string. Doesn't sound too bad, but in comparison with other violins that I have, it does. This violin is still not awake, not fully. However, we just keep trying. And it's interesting because you can't really tell, you can't really predict. I remember going once into a violin shop, the one I know very well actually, and the owner was in the back shop playing a certain violin. And I went through to see him. He was playing a violin which was priced at £18,000, an expensive, fairly modern, Italian, not very modern, mid-20th century, Italian instrument by a known and highly reputed maker. And he said, I'm trying to get this thing to sound properly. And right enough, it didn't sound too great. You would never have picked it as an expensive, distinguished violin, or violin by a distinguished maker. Whereas I have heard, and indeed I have, one or two violins which are very, very modest indeed, both in provenance and in price, anonymous instruments, which are wonderful to play, really wonderful. So you just can't tell, and that is part of the interest of the whole exercise. And there I'm going to leave it. Piotr Kubas and I will continue to work together from time to time, and perhaps he will come more out of his shell. Who can tell? Anyway, thank you for watching.